We're joined today by Sporting Kansas City midfielder Roger Espinoza. Roger, thanks for taking the time. At this point, we will open it up for questions from media on the call.
Roger, how have these at-home workouts been going? I know we talked a couple weeks ago. Now that you're a little bit more into it, how's it been?
Good. I think I'm still in pretty good shape. Obviously, it's not the ideal part where you're playing soccer as much, but definitely working out a lot, running a lot. It's just hard to tell soccer-wise how in shape you are. But other than that, I mean, I've been trying to keep busy every day and working out.
I know that we heard from Commissioner earlier this week on an update with return to play, pushing that back now to June. What was your reaction to hearing that news? Were you expecting that, or were you a little surprised as a lot of moving parts are still kind of happening right now?
I was definitely not as surprised. I mean, we exactly don't know what's going on around. All I can do is just work hard and stay ready whenever that day comes. Like we said earlier, is the health it's first above and beyond anything. So if that's what it's going to take, then I mean, I'm okay with it. Obviously you miss soccer and you miss being around, going out, but at the end of the day, if that's what it takes, okay, you take it. I'm not, sad about it. I know health is first. So, not a surprise. Is the other states having a big problem. So we need to push it back just because of this reason.
Another thing that Commissioner Don Garber said was to ESPN, and that's, if MLS does find a way to return soon, it will likely be with studio games, no fans in the stands. And that was just one option that they've thrown out. Of course, a lot of other leagues are talking about these types of things. Have you and your teammates have had time to discuss, maybe what that would be like, and what's your impression of playing a full soccer game with no fans really in attendance? Does it change anything for you?
I mean, like I said earlier, health is first, and if that's what it takes to get our freedom back, if you say, and we had to first start in small steps, then that's okay. That's the way it has to go. Hopefully the games are able to be on TV and not many people at the stadium, but that's fine. And with my teammates, I have not been able to speak to any of them. We're pretty much are just waiting to see what the league and what our organization says. But I think the majority of the guys would be okay with that, just because we have to gain our freedom back and see how it goes, because this is something new for all of us, and it's a test at the end of the day, and no one knows how to go about it. So if that's the case, then okay, I think we're ready for wherever it comes. If it's going and training and doing small groups, not being close to each other. I've seen other teams in Europe do that. A couple times, I think Bayern was doing it. I don't know how that goes, so they can be a model for that. I heard a little bit about baseball too. But yeah, I mean, we're ready for whatever.
Hey, Roger. How you doing, man? Hope you're doing well. Just when it comes to MLS coming out with June as kind of a date now, an official date, does it help that they give out a permanent date for this is when you can start in terms of your what has now really become more of an off-season training program, or does it help more that you just don't know what you're getting into and you're kind of keeping a consistent effort with what goes on with the Zoom calls that you have with your coaching staff and training staff?
Hey, good morning. Yeah, I mean, it does help a little bit in my part because, right now I'm working hard and exactly if you have a date. I mean, yeah, it's deloading the last 3 weeks or trying to get your shape there. But I'm going for what the team is saying and what the commissioner and then the workouts that are performance coaches giving us, and from there you kind of do those workouts. So for example, next week it's starting next week's a deloading week, and then you start again for another 3 or 4 weeks, and then if that's cut short, then we're ready to stop there and go back to training. But it does help a little bit because you can plan your schedule around that in terms of how hard you work. And I don't know do you have another question about that?
No, that was it. You're good.
Roger, Carlos Chicas en Arkansas, habla un poquito qué tan difícil ha sido la situación en la que está ahora, en este caso, tu persona, y a qué lo comparas con historias tal vez pasadas en situaciones similares como estas.
Bueno, la verdad es que es una situación nueva para todo el mundo, Carlos. Es algo muy difícil, pero lo puedo comparar un poquito con los toques de queda en Honduras en el 2009, donde hubo un golpe de Estado, pero breve se vivió en Honduras eso, y era cuando jugaba la selección y todo eso. No tiene nada que ver, solo que las calles estaban desoladas un poco, no podía salir nadie, la selección a entrenar y nada más eso, pero es algo que uno se acostumbra rápido, tiene que acostumbrarse y como dicen en Honduras, hay que cambiar el chip rápido para poder salir adelante, y ahora solo es tratar de mejorar su vida uno aquí para no pensar en lo negativo y solo en lo positivo y salir adelante.
¿Qué tan difícil es mantenerte en forma ahora sabiendo que posiblemente junio podría ser por ahí uno de los meses oficiales? Eso primero. Y después, ¿cómo está la familia, si tenés familia en Honduras lidiando con todo esto?
Bueno, en la parte de condición y todo eso, no es difícil. La verdad que acostumbrarse a una rutina diaria que hay que hacer. Ahora, en la parte futbolística, en la condición futbolística, eso no lo sabe mucho uno porque no está jugando fútbol, no sabe que es dar un pique de 30 metros, después parar y seguir. Aquí lo puedo hacer en la calle, lo puedo hacer en una cancha donde no haya nadie, pero en un partido no lo sabe, entonces esa parte es un poco complicada, pero es una rutina diaria que uno se acostumbra. Y la familia, la verdad que muy agradecido que todos están bien, tanto en familia aquí en Estados Unidos como en Honduras. Han tomado todas las medidas de precaución para estar bien, tanto como muchos niños de la familia, como también mucha gente adulta. Y hay que tomar esto con los pasos necesarios que sea para estar bien de salud, que yo creo que al final es lo más importante.
Hey Roger, I was wondering what your thoughts were on World Cup qualifying and the fact that the process might change and again it's a lot of unknown there.
Yeah, that's something I'm trying to pay attention to. But at the end of the day, if you don't get back to club soccer, then it's very difficult to think about national team just because you got to get those guys going in the club scene first, and then World Cup will come next. It's gonna be difficult. You're probably gonna have to do almost like a quick round robin on things, right? Just because Olympics coming, I guess it got moved up to next year, right? And then you have the Euro, you have Copa America, you have Gold Cup, and you have all that going on. And if or the Nations League, right? Sorry. And if you have all that, something's gonna have to change. And but we know the World Cup is the most important event in the world, and it's where stars come out. So definitely something that I'm paying attention close to it, but it's going to be something that's going to have to be drastically changed right away to qualify for that.
What would you change? Would you try to preserve World Cup qualifying in its entirety, how it was supposed to be, or would you kind of try to shorten that to preserve, I guess, the other tournaments like Nation League and the Gold Cup and all that?
I mean, yeah. I mean, to me, World Cup is the most important thing at this moment, right? And the luxury for Olympics is that you take a younger crew, so that pretty much takes care of itself right there. But the World Cup is definitely the most important. It's the one that kids around the world, and a lot of soccers are made during that time. A lot of kids become in love with soccer, and it changes their life forever. So, in a lot of countries. So I would say that somehow you have to figure out a schedule and move some other stuff out in order to make the World Cup happen.
Roger, Peter's for a long time now tasked you with the role of being sort of a guide for new players to enter the club, with Gadi Kinda, Alan Polito having their first season in MLS be a very unusual one. What have your conversations been like with some of the newer guys who are trying to adjust during this time, not only to a new city, a new country for some, but now kind of a new routine?
Yeah, it's been very difficult right now because usually, when you get to see them in preseason on the field every day in practice, you kind of, it's easy to see in their body language how they're feeling. Being with so many players from different countries, different cultures, kind of figured out people a little bit. You learn how to read them, but right now it's a very difficult moment, and all you try to do is kind of just send them a message, and here and there, especially Gotti. Gotti, we do some workouts, some Zoom workouts and whatnot. And so try to remind him, like, hey, you got to get online, you got to do this, you got to do that. And Ely also, I'm going to add Ely to this because Ely helps a lot, and he's staying in communication with Alan. But the thing about this is going around the world, so they know it's not only in the United States. It would have been difficult if it was just only the United States, and then knowing that their countries are free and going out and around. But it's also happening in Israel. It's happening in Mexico, and so it's Roberto in Croatia and all the other guys from other countries. It's happening everywhere, so that kind of keeps it easy a little bit, and know that they're not the only ones on this. But it definitely makes it difficult in the part, just because you want to keep them motivated, and hey, because the season's going to come back, and try to keep them in shape.
Roger, hablaba de la Copa del Mundo y una pregunta directa. ¿Te ves aún con la posibilidad de ser contemplado para selección nacional y poder revivir eliminatoria y posiblemente Copa
En lo
Oro?
personal, yo tomé la decisión en 2018 y me retiré. Entonces creo que ya eso está en el pasado. Yo creo que soy un aficionado más soy un aficionado más de la selección de Honduras, pero sí deseo que la selección esté en un mundial. Tengo muchos sueños que a la selección le vaya muy bien. La verdad que sería un orgullo. Como jugador siempre luché para que la selección estuviera en una etapa mucho mejor, y para eso está uno así. Fueron jugadores antes que mí que hicieron lo mismo para que yo tuviera un nivel más alto. Me tocó a mí, y creo que la selección cada mundial va mejorando. Ya fueron 2 mundiales seguidos, en el 2010, 2014. No fue bien en el 2018. Ojalá ahorita en el 22 la selección pueda llegar y llegue a un nivel muy alto.
Roger, una preguntita. Alejandro Cabero de La Grande 1340, la casa en español del Sporting. Espero que estés bien. El miércoles pasado, esto de la pandemia realmente está complicando mucho el fútbol a nivel mundial, y aquí en Estados Unidos el miércoles, ayer, la US Soccer anunció que el Development Academy va a cerrar por un tema de presupuesto y un tema de crisis. Sos una de las de los primeros productos de la MLS en cuanto a jugadores de fútbol con el Adidas, el grupo de Adidas. Te conocimos a los 18 años, has cumplido todas esas etapas y conoces de la importancia de estas Development Academies. Pareciera ser como que Todd Dorpen ahora está pensando en hacer una academy para la MLS. ¿Pensás que esto es una oportunidad dentro de esta crisis, una oportunidad para profesionalizar un poco lo que es las divisiones inferiores?
Sí, mira, primeramente soy la única persona que está en el estadio. pero, ¿qué te iba a decir? Sí, yo digo que es una oportunidad para recapacitar muchísimas cosas, para pensar uno mismo. Creo que este tiempo que tiene uno es para todo eso. Y se pueden pensar hasta en lo que los equipos que han perdido, los que han ganado, nosotros como jugadores podemos hacer mejor, y ya no vamos a la academia, que creo que por muchos años o décadas en Estados Unidos se ha hablado de eso, pues, porque si uno vamos a los países sudamericanos, de Europa, las razones porque son equipos de alto nivel y selecciones de alto nivel es porque las academias, las inferiores, es donde están muy reforzados. Entonces, creo que sí, estoy muy de acuerdo que en Estados Unidos se puede pensar eso, cómo reestructurar todo eso y, y mejorarlo. Y yo creo que en estos momentos se está mejorando el nivel, pero se sabe que tiene que mejorar muchísimo más. Hay equipos que tienen jugadores que están saliendo más, otros equipos que no ponen ni a un jugador, otros equipos que juegan jugadores que hay. Entonces, creo que ahorita sería que el Sporting, un equipo que juega algunos cuantos jugadores, ojalá que en el futuro se dé más. Eh, Dallas es uno de los equipos que pone muchos jugadores también, y yo creo que sería algo muy importante para que se piense en ese proceso.
Última pregunta, y es más relacionada con la parte social. Sabemos que colaboras mucho con la gente de Honduras, siempre, en todo momento. En este momento de la pandemia, ya hay unos 70 casos en Honduras. ¿Estás trabajando en algo que podamos colaborar dentro de la comunidad con algún proyecto en el que estés involucrado?
En lo personal, siempre he tratado de ayudar al país. La verdad que lo he hecho no en lo individual, siempre me he unido a fundaciones o cosas así. Eh, Ahorita estoy colaborado en videos y todo eso, pero sí, la verdad que no tengo nada concluido ahorita, pero en el futuro sí estoy pensando ayudar al país, a ver qué se puede hacer. Creo que ahorita es un mundo que uno no sabe lo que está pasando. Eh, Uno solo mira videos y todo eso, pero la verdad uno no puede eh, eh, opinar de lo que está pasando y irse por un video, por algo, uno no sabe tanto cómo está la crisis. Eh, Se le hace un poco difícil ahora, pero la verdad que ojalá que en el futuro se le pueda ayudar y aportar algo al país, porque sé que los países, se puede decir, de muy bajos recursos van a ser los más afectados. Imagínate en Estados Unidos afectada a la gente, uno se puede imaginar los países de uno donde la economía es más baja. Eso queda por muchas décadas, entonces ojalá en poco se le puede ayudar al país.
Gracias.
Any additional questions from the group?
Yes. So, Roger, I don't know if you hear me. I'm bad at this.
Say it again.
I guess you do hear me. I'm with Soccer Kansas City Magazine. I'm actually in New York, though. Here we're getting hit hard. I grew up watching. I'm the same age, but didn't play at the level of Peter Vermes. And literally a month or so before you were born, I began to work with a team with Zoran Savic. So I have some people there. I've dealt with Legends Academy, and a friend has a child in the academy with your team. New York is getting hammered with this COVID thing. First, they don't listen, but also it's so many people. Kansas City, how is everyone dealing with it over there?
You know, I live in a very populated area here in Kansas City, and so far, you know, I got no complaints of how the city is taking it. It looks like everybody here is, you know, is following all the procedures and everything that has to do with COVID. Obviously, you know, we're allowed to go to the grocery stores because you definitely need food to survive, right? You know, other than that, you can order from restaurants. But, you know, so far I live, like I said, in an area, Westport, where people tend to come to restaurants and bars and stuff. So it's pretty damn quiet. You don't see anybody. It's like, you know, like no one ever lived here. So in that part, I'm very happy just because, you know, I see people in these areas following the rules and other procedures that needs to be taken in order for us to be healthy. And, you know, at the end of the day, that's the most important thing. I couldn't tell you about the other surrounding areas because I can't go there. You know, at the same time, you're trying to be a good citizen just like everybody else. Obviously, in New York, it's a little different. Everybody pretty much lives on top of each other, right? So it makes it very difficult in a city like New York, or, for example, in the East Coast or the Northwest of the United States. So in that part, you know, we're kind of separated a little bit here, so that makes it probably a bit easier. But at the end of the day, we don't know exactly what the damage is at the end of the day in numbers.
Your team is doing some great things. I believe it was this week they began giving away 1,000 meals a day at the stadium. how much pride does that give you in your team, your organization?
You know, it's no surprise to me. You know, every year, you know, when the season ends, you know, if it's from the staff or from the players, and we come back, you know, we have a meeting and we try to talk of next thing, what's next for us to do better for the club, for the community. So this is no surprise to me. You know, I'm actually very happy when I saw that. I actually saw little clip pictures, I believe, on Instagram where they were handing out meals to the most affected areas in Kansas City. And that's great to see. You know, that's great to see because it's not all about soccer at the end of the day. You know, it's about the people around town and helping the community. That's what sports should do. I mean, there's a lot of players here in the team that volunteer their time the entire year to help the community. And obviously this year's going to be a bit tough because when we get back, it's probably going to be games every 3 days, and it's going to be tough for the players to help the community. But definitely there will be another plan to definitely help those affected ones by this, and hopefully we can recover back to the city as quick as we can.
Mr. Espinoza, nice to meet you. Felix from Univision Kansas City. There's a lot of fans that really want to see us play. We love sports. And my question, I have two questions. My question for you is, what do you tell all the fans that really want to see you guys play? A lot of people are anxious to you know, feel normal again. What do you tell the fans that they expect to see you? They might only see you by TV and not in person.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, we all are living in this new world. To say we have no idea what's going on. We don't know the extent. I mean, I watch the news every day, and one guy say one thing. I think is to, you know, to the fans. It's like, hey, health is first. At the end of the day, you know, we all want to be at the stadium. We all want to be shaking hands, you know, celebrating together, but being healthy, and that's everything in this world. And so if it takes just playing with no fans, then that's the way to do it. I'd rather, you know, be watching other leagues too on TV and people not being there, but that's the way it goes. I think the health and everybody's well-being is the main thing, and hopefully we can get back and be together by the time this year ends.
Thank you. And to follow up with that last comment you said, or one of the comments you said about health, in Spanish, could you give recommendations to your fans as to what they can do at home to stay healthy and stay active?
Sí, claro. La verdad que no es nada nuevo. Solo recordarle a la gente que el proceso es siempre de estornudar, cuando uno va a estornudar, de taparse la boca, en especial con la parte del antebrazo, lavarse las manos, pasar los 20 segundos, usar jabón siempre, no salir a la calle. Son cosas que se le recuerda a la gente, pero que ya la saben, y ser muy positivo. La verdad que creo que eso al final, cuando uno es muy positivo, las cosas positivas pasan, y las cosas buenas vienen siempre a uno. Entonces, ojalá que sigan todas las reglas que la ciudad, no solo aquí, pero en otros países de Latinoamérica igual, están pidiendo a la comunidad, y ojalá sigan esos pasos.
Y en aspectos físicos, como de mantenerse saludable en ejercicios o vitaminas, ¿qué recomiendas para pues que se sienta mejor la gente?
Sí, la verdad que yo en lo personal de vitaminas, pues nunca he sido una persona que ha estado ahí, pues sé que son muy importantes para alguna gente, en especial la gente que sufre algunos problemas. Pero el ejercicio siempre es bueno. En lo personal, desde muy niño con mi familia siempre hemos sido una familia futbolera, que nos gusta el deporte, que nos gusta ir al parque, que nos gusta ir a las montañas y todo eso. Y eso siempre ayuda, la verdad, que a despejar la mente. Se puede ir a caminar, se puede hacer todo eso, y al final eso le quita un poquito de tiempo y despeja la mente uno para estar positivamente bien. Entonces, ojalá que la gente pueda salir a caminar y le va a cambiar la vida un poco en ese día.
Ok, gracias.
Gracias.
Hey Roger, Sean Goodwin here. Hope you're doing well. You mentioned earlier you were talking with Ali you were doing a trivia night last night with a couple of the guys. Just what else have you been doing to keeping contact and touch with the team outside of just your online training sessions?
I started cooking a little more, so that's something that probably takes me 3 hours. I burn my food every time, so it takes me about 3 hours to cook everything. Other than that, I mean, I just a lot of TV shows. I've been catching on. I know the different type of streaming around, watching a lot of soccer. Last week was the anniversary of Wigan winning the FA Cup, so I've not seen that game. So I was able to watch that game the other day for the first time. So that was great to see. Go running a lot, I work out a lot, and that pretty much takes a lot of my day. Probably worked out more than I ever have before, just because you're always training. After training, you're very tired, so you don't want to work out anymore. But since you're not training, you're trying to put all the energy towards that. I mean, talking to family, friends, catching up with friends, and that takes a long day. I have a lot of friends in Honduras, a lot of friends in England, players that I played with in the past. So it's great trying to catch up with everyone and and keep myself busy. Play a lot of board games, so that makes it a bit interesting. Learning new games, learning other stuff. So it's I learned how to manage my time in this tough times.
Una pregunta más, Roger, ¿quién está más feliz en casa, vos o la persona que acaba de estar atrás ahí agarrando, creo que el gato o algo?
Es mi novia, al chulo, al perro, el famoso chulo. La verdad que yo creo que está más feliz chulo porque nadie pelea con él, nadie y le dan comida todo el día, entonces creo que el chulo está más feliz.